You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies.
This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Crossbones After Show.
We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's
AFTERBUZZ TV's Crossbones After Show.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain. Somebody did this one already. Somebody did SpongeBob.
I didn't know that.
That's right.
Phil was pretty proud of himself, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Thought of it ahead of time or something?
I still see him smiling in the engineering booth. Hey, guys, welcome into the Crossbones After Show right here on AfterBuzzTV.com. Season 1, Episode 7, Beggarman. I didn't know what that meant until we got well into the episode. We'll learn that. But before we get there, welcome in. Thank you guys for joining us, as always, this week. I'm Bobby. This is Kelly. Just doing our thing.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Don't have a whole lot to say because, unfortunately, next week is actually the last Crossbones After Show. Yeah. So if you haven't said anything bad about us yet and you've wanted to,
just let it out.
Let it out now, man. This week is the time. This week is the time. Let's jump into it seriously, though. Okay, we're going to talk about next week and the whole 2-hour season finale. I want your thoughts on that. But before we do that, let's cover this week's episode. I thought this was one of the better Crossbones episodes there was. Don't even look at me like that. You didn't like it?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I guess there was a lot of information and we found out a lot, but there's just really, I don't understand. First, Blackbeard's asleep the whole time.
Yeah, because he had the trephine, he had that operation, you know, that he went to sleep.
I don't know. I feel like, I guess I feel like all Crossbone episodes could be a little bit better.
I think that's something we're going to have to spend a lot of time at the end debating about. Yeah. But let's jump into this one now. We start with Nenna. We start with Nenna and James in this situation. And let's talk about that one a little bit because Nenna, for as confusing as her relationship with Rose was, and we never understood that, and we never understood what was going on, we knew she wanted to get off the island. Now all of her actions make more sense, at least to me. Why she did what she did with Rose, the importance of safeguarding against the letter, blackmailing Tom in multiple ways, losing her finger and all that stuff. So Nenna, who was crazy and weird and kind of out there to me, is still crazy, but at least I understand her motives.
Yeah, I'll give you that, because now it's like, oh, I get why you were being... She's
shady.
Smart a little in a way, you know?
Yeah,
she's
100%.
Slick, because she fooled us, because we thought she was super into... What's-her-face? Rose.
But we still don't know what's-her-face. She's dead, it doesn't matter. Yeah. We still don't know the motive, the reason.
Yeah, why she wants to go so badly. I don't know.
Although she did steal jewels from Blackbeard himself. So whatever the reason is, it's got to be something to where she is willing to literally die. You wouldn't take that risk. I know he's asleep, but you wouldn't take that risk with Salima there, with anything going on with Charlie and those guys, if you weren't willing to die for it. So it has to be such a significant reason. I just wish I knew what it was.
I know. I hope we find out.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think we're going to see her next week, or is she gone now?
I kind of predicted that she is found. Because I kind of want to have her found.
You want to
know? I want answers, man. Because I want answers.
And she's missing a finger.
Yeah. That's nuts. That's dedication.
Do you think she watched The Big Lebowski before enacting that plan? I'm just kidding. If you've never, missing a toe. Yeah, okay. I thought I thought you would laugh at that joke.
I haven't seen The Big Lebowski.
Wow. Hold on, stop the show. Hang on. You are a comedian and you've never seen The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's going to be a one-man show from here on out, so thanks for joining me. I'm going to take over.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Okay, well, you need to go home and watch it tonight.
Okay, after Multiplicity.
Oh, man, you've never seen The Big Lebowski. Phil, have you seen The Big Lebowski?
Indeed.
And was it not the most amazing movie you've ever seen?
Dude.
I know that he's the dude. I know, yeah.
That's all I needed. All right, let's talk about James now, because we're going to talk about Nenna throughout the episode with what she did, but the catalyst for her is James. And James, Kate's on-again, off-again husband, whatever, and on-again, off-again opium, by the way.
Yeah, right?
James and her kind of get together and make a plot to sort of blackmail Tom and make Tom look like the bad guy, and Nenna sort of tells him what she needs from him, and she has to find this letter and all sorts of stuff. James is an interesting relationship because a couple episodes ago, him and Tom were really bonding.
Yeah.
Tom was really guilty about what he did with Kate. Tom was helping James get healthy. And now James has gone totally cold on Tom to the point where he moves him to an execution. Of course, James halts that execution, but he moves him to the execution. This is pretty serious for him. Is it just that he was so offended that he almost lost Kate? Is it just that what happened with Kate and Tom? Or is there something else going on with James? Does he have a loyalty to Blackbeard and he doesn't want to...
I don't know. I think maybe he was suffering so much from not doing opium that he was just like so miserable that he's like, forget it. I'm going to get Lowe because he, you know, even though he's nice now, he was still a man. He put me here, you know? And
by Lowe, we of course mean Richard Hannay. Tom Lowe is not actually Tom Lowe.
Yeah.
So James did, I guess, have that incentive to get the guy who was spying in Scotland on the Jacobite Revolution and all that sort of stuff. But that seems like a really long sell for a really long revenge. At this point, you almost... I mean, I've never been there, but you might almost let bygones be bygones. You're on a totally different pirate island. You got different problems now.
Yeah.
Right?
And he helped you a lot.
Yeah, he kept you alive. He helped you walk.
But I think maybe because we find out he did hear everything that Lowe told Kate, so maybe that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back or whatever. Like, that's it. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm gonna...
It could have been. I've never been convinced with Kate that she had any love for either Tom or James.
Yeah,
those relationships never convinced me. And I don't necessarily think it was bad acting. I think Richard Coyle is a great actor who plays Tom. I think the guy who plays James is fine. And I think Claire Foy, who plays Kate, is great. There's nothing wrong with the acting there. I don't even know if
chemistry, though, is missing.
Exactly. I don't even know if it's the writing or what, but there's something missing, and it's got to be that chemistry. And when I saw Kate with James and with Tom, I wasn't convinced of love with either one of those two.
No, I think she likes Fletch the most.
She did take up for Fletch. That's a good point. Fletch, if you think about it in this episode, because we're not going to talk about him very much, so let's bring him up.
Yeah.
Fletch had Kate take up for him. He had, what was the other prostitute's name?
Maggie? Or no, it starts with an N.
It's I have it written down.
Nellie.
Nellie, thank you. He had Nellie kiss him on the cheek and kind of take up for him. He's now like a big surgeon dude for Tom when he comes back from being lashed or whatever. So Fletch is looking pretty good. I mean...
Well, Nellie kind of almost hooked up with him before in a previous episode, right? So, I mean, he's got some moves.
He's got his thing going on. Yeah. When you talk about living on this island, there's a lot of people like Nenna who want to get off the island, or Tom who want to out it, or Blackbeard who want to destroy it. Yeah. Fletch got it pretty good on the island.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like that. That's, all the villagers and stuff. Yeah, that's why they're there.
Exactly. They're probably living up the dream. And if they can just execute like a British guy every now and again, they're cool.
Yeah.
Should have executed Tom. Okay, so we have James and Nenna. The thing that I found interesting about Nenna was she is so devious and she's so cunning, and usually she's in so much control or likes to say that she's in control. It was funny to me when she threatens to kill Tom in the middle of the city, in the middle of the village, threatens to kill Tom, Nellie, the baby, and Fletch. And then Tom says, do it. We'll take your challenge on that one. Do it right here. Let's see what's going to happen. And they split up. The three of them split up away from Nenna. And Tom goes and buries the letter that's not actually the letter and says, you're looking in the wrong place. That's the first time to me that Nenna has kind of been outsmarted by somebody that I can remember, at least on a big way, has been outsmarted by somebody when she's usually in control. She was in control with Rose. Even though Rose was playing her, Nenna was still intimidating and in control.
Yeah.
And she was in control with the real estate agent when she went to that island and was so aggressive with him to find a property. She was in control with Charlie and had agency with that, hook up. Don't forget about that.
What was the point of that, though?
I have no idea.
Just like...
I have no idea. There are so many storylines in this show that have never been developed.
Finished.
And guess what? A big one of them is Antoinette. I don't mean to jump ahead on that, but Antoinette, Blackbeard's wife or whatever, we haven't seen a ton of development. We just kind of see specters a lot. We've seen her in prison for a couple episodes. But Nenna's story with Charlie wasn't developed. Selima's story has been developed on and off.
But why is she so big? I don't know.
The whole thing is really... It's confusing to write notes for this thing and then to have to talk about your notes and get them in order. Because this is a soap opera. I mean, it is. It's a soap opera. There's 19 stories going on. It's tough to figure out.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just really dumb. That is probably part of it.
Teach us.
That's probably...
Teach us.
A huge part of it.
Yeah.
Me not smart. But...
I just want to learn, though. What's up with this show?
Well, we only have one more episode to learn, so let's face it. So we've got the letter situation. We know how that goes down. The reason I thought this was such a good show, to jump to kind of the climactic scenes, are those execution scenes. I know it was overly done dramatic. James yelling to stop, and he slices down the sickle or whatever, and it's, 3 inches from Tom's head. Okay, that's a television thing. But all those execution scenes, first with Tom, then we've got James getting the lashes, then Tom steps in for James to get the lashes, whatever. That was interesting to me. You didn't like it?
No, it was good.
I need a little violence.
And they did it well with a
little CGI on the blood spatter off the lashes.
The
and stuff
first
like that.
one, it looked real. Yeah. I'll give it. And I liked the whole letter thing, how slick she was with James kind of getting it from Fletch and just having him burn it.
Yeah.
So it had its moments. I'm not saying it was the worst one.
It had its moments. I'll take that. It's okay if it had its moments. But Charlie in this one really comes off to me because he's so aggressive. He's so aggressive the entire time with Tom, wants to execute him the whole time, but stays within the bounds. And then once Charlie finds out that James has been lying about Tom, Charlie's just as aggressive, but he doesn't misplace his anger. He's like, there are laws. We have to lash you. Sorry, bro.
He's kind of stepping up his game because he knows that Blackbeard's indisposed or whatever.
Exactly. And Charlie has to be the leader now. Yeah. Even though Blackbeard probably would never give him the reins like we saw before. But he
thinks he might.
Yeah. And he's the de facto one right now because he's still second in command. And Lord knows Selima's not going outside.
No, yeah.
She didn't have the stomach to do that kind of stuff.
But, I think he did pretty well because he was pretty fair for a pirate in a way.
Well, yeah. I mean, they do have a code. It's the convict code, man. It's the criminal code, I mean, if you're on that island, I guess you do have laws that you have to follow on some regards. So I believe that. I thought that part was okay. But it's interesting to see how with both him and Nena, how against Tom they are, and how against Tom Nena has been. Like from the start, she blackmailed him for a while. She blackmailed him, or I shouldn't say blackmailed. She set him up. She framed him with Rose's death, with that necklace that Rose was holding that was Tom's, and she buried it with Rose, and then made sure Rose was found, and then framed him with her own.
Do you think that was early on, or do you think she just took it recently?
I think it was relatively recently, but I think it was long enough ago that Nena had this in the works for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And she kind of knew what was happening because she knew she wanted to get off the island. She knew she needed more jewelry, so she had to go to Blackbeard's place and steal it. She knew that she had to find a reason to get off the island where they wouldn't look for her, so she had to fake her own death. And it's ironic that Tom goes in there with Rose's necklace initially to fake Rose's death, to incriminate Nena, and then Nena turns around and has a much bigger fake death with a body part. Just like The Big Lebowski. You gotta watch that.
I gotta.
With a body part. You would love that movie, by the way.
I probably would. I know.
Really would.
A lot of people tell me to watch it. It's one of those things.
Maybe you should take some advice.
I always forget about it.
Oh, man. I have a DVD copy. I'm going to bring it next week. We'll celebrate the end of Crossbones with a screening of The Big Lebowski. We'll live tweet it.
Okay.
Yeah.
After my leftovers, though.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. No, whatever. We'll live tweet at 2 a.m. Trust me, people tune in for that. All right, let's talk Blackbeard now, because Blackbeard
is asleep the whole time.
Pretty much.
Recovering, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he had a huge hole, literally a huge hole in his head.
I just want to see that coin.
Me too, man. I was going to say the exact same thing. I want to see that coin too. I want to see what that thing is all about. Yeah, I really do too. But at the end then, Blackbeard ends up forgiving Lowe, and this is kind of the interesting scene for him to me, because Lowe takes all these lashes. Well, I guess before we get to Blackbeard, how about Lowe, man? Pretty jacked, huh?
Yeah, right. You can't notice that under all that clothing.
I know he does wear like kind of nicer clothing. He wants to be known as a surgeon or whatever, but dude's kind of jacked.
Yeah, just fix that hair,
Yeah, well, it was 1729.
I know.
You can't fault the guy too bad. And he's living on a pirate island. What kind of?
I know. Look at Fletch. He never bathes, that kid.
There's no sport clips on Santa Campana. You know what I mean? He's not going to Great Clips for his $9.99 haircut. Which, by the way, if you check in online on Great Clips and places like that, you get a discount.
Oh, really?
Found that out on Friday.
Good to know. Yeah. I usually go to Supercuts.
These people are not paying us for these comments, but they should be. No, there's none of that on that island, so I understand what you're saying about his hair. But after all this happens, when Lowe is struggling with the lashes and having to then recover and have surgery or whatever with Fletch getting ready, Blackbeard forgives him.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting scene, but it was also kind of a redundant scene to me, because we know that Blackbeard and Lowe already see each other as equals.
Yeah.
So I guess if Blackbeard's going to do this and explicitly forgive Tom and literally pretty much say it's forgiven. I think he used that word.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something like that, then this would have to be the end of the beef between them, or whatever supposed beef was going on. So I would assume that in the finale coming up, the two of them will be working together in some way against some other party.
Will they?
I don't know.
I don't know. I still feel like they're like, oh, we're equal, but still, let's kill each other. You know?
Really?
I feel like they still don't
so
like
it's still like forgiven, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
You're not really forgiven? Because Blackbeard's just that kind of a guy?
Yeah. And Lowe kind of wants to, you know, he's an Englishman when it comes down. I mean, he loves Kate, but he's going to find a way to win both ways.
But,
you know?
but remember from Blackbeard's perspective, we know that the surgery was unnecessary. And Lowe was trying to buy time and create a situation. He didn't need to cut open Blackbeard's head.
Yeah, but
Blackbeard doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So to him, Lowe saved his life. He recovered. He's going to be eternally grateful because life is important to him. And he said he wants to stick around. He was sad about dying before. It wasn't like a, you know, I'm ready for death, whatever. We know he was sad about dying. So the fact that Lowe saved Blackbeard's life tells me that Blackbeard's so indebted to him. I think he kind of meant it with forgiveness.
maybe. And I just don't trust Blackbeard.
Wow, I like Blackbeard. How about Blackbeard's visions?
Yeah.
When he actually was Blackbeard. Hey, congratulations! 7 episodes
Finally!
in!
Woohoo! No, none
Yes.
of those candles, though. He didn't have those, how you said he has candles.
He does,
sometimes.
yeah. The real Blackbeard had like literally candlesticks in his beard, and he would light them on fire.
Yeah.
This is badass. Like, come
I
on.
want to see that.
Like, come on. I'm trying to get a tattoo and think it's badass. This dude was lighting fire in his beard.
Yeah.
But anyways, 7 episodes in, we finally see Blackbeard for what he was, which was black hair, black beard. Looks like the guy. And we see Jagger again, and Jagger is so aggressive with him. So are these dreams? We were talking about this. This is a dream sequence of some kind when he's in his comatose state or whatever it was. But are these actual things that happened in the past to him, and he is reliving them in his head? The Jagger interrogations, seeing Antoinette in the prison, stuff like that. Are those things that have happened in the past to him that he's reliving now? Or are they other specters of ways this could go or ways this could have gone or something with Jagger that's a hypothetical situation?
I think they are the things that have happened in the past, because it gives you that the whole dream sequence gives you a lot of information about who Antoinette is and everything, and you know how they broke apart, kind of how she's still stuck there and he's not. Because
and it would be consistent in the story that she is still stuck there. We know she's still stuck there. Yeah.
And Charlie's even in it, so it's, you know.
And that's the thing. It's a younger Blackbeard because he's got all his hair and they try to make him look younger. And it's definitely a younger Charlie.
Yeah.
He looks Charlie then looks very different from Charlie
longer
today
hair.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think as many tattoos.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's still, I think he was just reliving his past, or maybe the surgery kind of opened up a new part of his brain where he's like, maybe he blocked out that past.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he even remembered Antoinette. At least he was acting so well that he didn't remember her. But now maybe he's re-remembering, oh, this is this girl, you know?
That's an interesting point. So the surgery, which Lowe tells Blackbeard the surgery will alleviate the dreams and the specters and the nightmares. Lowe actually knows there's no point for the surgery and it won't do anything. Ironically, maybe the surgery will make more intense those dreams, and things like this will come back to Blackbeard, and it will get worse. And I don't mean to make a prediction yet, but I will. Maybe because they will get worse in the 2-hour finale next week, maybe Blackbeard realizes the surgery didn't work the way he thought it would, and then maybe he does not forgive Lowe and take it out on Lowe. Okay, you're forgiven. you have an out there. Maybe Blackbeard will be an enemy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we can only wait and see about that.
I know. 2 hours.
2 hours. What the heck are we going to talk about? I just hope a lot of things get cleared up. We can do a lot of prediction stuff with it, but I just hope that a lot of things get cleared up with that, because this is so.
It doesn't feel like a finale coming up.
Let's just jump into it because we're going to talk about it for a while.
Yeah.
Let's do news and gossip right now.
Okay.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Let's start with yours, because yours is not as controversial as mine. I have a feeling we're going to go into mine for a little bit.
All right. Wait, so mine is news. It's he was at Comic-Con with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, Blackbeard was?
Yeah.
Or John Malkovich.
John Malkovich, yeah. And they were just discussing the new movie that they're going to be in, the Penguins of Madagascar. And he's actually going to be playing the bad guy to Benedict's good guy. Well, they're both trying to, I guess, make the penguins do stuff or something. And Benedict's playing a wolf, an agent wolf, and he's playing an evil octopus.
Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Okay, so you got an agent evil wolf and a wolf and an evil octopus trying to, quote, make the penguins do stuff.
Yeah, I think they're like, because you know those penguins, they are on missions and stuff in Madagascar, right?
Is this the sequel to Citizen Kane?
Yes.
It's gonna be a good one,
But
right?
in color.
But in color. When is this movie supposed to come out?
November? Yeah,
Okay.
November. It said it 12th or something.
And this was
14th.
a Comic-Con thing. They were down at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And they just met the day before. Fun fact, because they were
Really?
both doing voiceover, so they didn't. Yeah, they were all in a box, voiceover.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. That's interesting though. Could you imagine meeting John Malkovich and then just like going on stage or going to something like that with him and just kind of figuring it out?
I know, right?
And somebody like, I mean, any one of these successful actors is probably nothing for them. But it would be such a weird experience. Malkovich is not like a normal dude. And I mean that as a compliment. He's really cool and he's really different.
Huh.
But I would meet him and like, I don't know what I would do. I would just kind of sit there and like watch his mannerisms.
Figure out his brain.
Yeah, exactly. Like what
Yeah.
Tom Lowe is doing to Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would want to see his head and see if he has the coin in his skull. I doubt he does.
No.
All right, our second piece of news, and this is going to open up a good debate for us. We have talked about it. You guys know about it. NBC is burning off the final 3 Crossbones episodes. There were supposed to be 10. This is number 7. Next week, they will do number 8 and 9 together in a 2-hour finale. And number 10, or whatever it was, has just kind of
disappeared.
It's gone. It's with the Spanish Armada that we've never heard anything about since about 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Now, here's
They're
the
just
thing.
still on the boats. That's what they're doing.
Number 10 is with the chronometer that we haven't heard about since like episode 3. That's where number 10 is, or it's with Rose
Listen,
being
it took
buried.
a while to travel back in the day. All right, it takes some time.
So episode 10 is going to come out 4 months from now.
Yeah.
The real season finale. Ratings are really low for this show. I know we've talked about it, but it had a 0.5 rating the most recent episode last week, which is not so good. And it's just, even though it's on NBC and we've talked about Dateline preceding it, ratings have not been good for Crossbones, so it hasn't been announced to us yet. But I have a feeling next week is probably it. So my question for you, Kelly, and we're going to open this up to you guys on iTunes or on YouTube or on Twitter. We want you to tweet us, comment on YouTube, and honestly tell us your thoughts because we have our own. Did this show deserve to be canceled? Did it deserve a better situation than it found? What's your, not necessarily the theme of the show itself, but the life of the show, the business side of it? Did it get a fair shake, or was it just a crappy show that was dying anyways?
Man, why are you making me answer this first? I'm gonna be like the bad guy.
No, be honest. I mean, we both were entertained by this show, but I think if we're honest, there were a lot of problems with it too.
Yeah.
And some of the problems were, and are, I guess supposedly it could be renewed, I doubt it. But some of the problems are Friday nights, summertime, NBC, no offense NBC, but like, what are you doing on Friday nights in the summer? Not watching TV.
They kind of did it to themselves by putting it on Friday night, but is the show the best show? But I mean, look at what NBC has going for them now during the summertime. Not because we were just talking Taxi Brooklyn. They could have easily put Crossbones instead of Taxi Brooklyn.
It would have been a little more mad. I have never seen Taxi Brooklyn.
I've never seen it either, but the premise.
Exactly. The previews of it were enough for me. So hey, at least it could be worse.
Yeah.
I will say this about Crossbones. A couple things that I was thinking about. First off, for a pirate show, very little pirate action, very few sword fights. Nothing on ships.
No piratey voices either.
No piratey voices. Like, I would have taken a little stereotypical pirate stuff.
Just one guy, maybe.
Very little pirate action.
One weird guy, like,
One dude.
Yeah.
One guy.
Just want to smee. I just want to...
Tough time slot. We talked about that. And really, maybe the time slot, if you build it, they will come. And there have been good shows in those kind of time slots before. I believe Blue Bloods on CBS.
And I think Fringe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe? Yeah.
There have been good Friday time slots. So it's not just the time slot. Another thing to me, though, is this kind of bizarre storylines. They've thrown everything to the wall to see what sticks, and some of them do. I find Richard Coyle pretty interesting. Tom Lowe's pretty interesting story. I'll watch those things. Some of them don't. Nena never really came to me. Kate's romantic interest never really came to me. So it's when you throw everything against the wall and see what sticks, something will stick, but it won't stick like you want it to.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the writers just wrote the show right before it had, I feel like they didn't really have an arc or an idea of how it was going to end. That's because they just sometimes they're like, oh, that storyline didn't work. Let's not talk about that ever again.
No, I 100% agree. And I'm sure it was more. I hope it was more complicated than that in the writers' room.
Yeah.
But that's what it came across as to me a little bit. And that's the biggest problem I have with this is there's no clear objective in the show. Everybody has multiple objectives. Blackbeard wants to stay alive. Maybe he has this hellburner. Maybe he's in love with Selima. Maybe he trusts Tom. Maybe he doesn't. You've got Tom with about 15 different objectives himself. You've got James. You've got Nenna, who has these weird objectives that... Yeah. The last episode is next week, and we still don't know what Nenna's objectives are. So there's not a single storyline to follow. There's not a single... I respect that you want to have parallel stories.
And you want to keep like the audience in the dark, but... let us just give us something.
Give us a little light.
Yeah.
Keep us in the dark, but give us a nightlight.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
It is a really pretty show, though.
It is, and that's
it's like a movie.
And that's probably another reason why it may not come back, is it probably cost a ton to make. Which, I mean, they did that well. I love the cinematography. I love props, costumes. I know it's a little unrealistic how they live. Did you see Nenna's place, her home?
Yeah.
That was like something off like Kardashians would vacation there.
Yeah.
Okay, like that was
There's
ridiculous.
no doors though. It's crazy.
That was a ridiculous place, and I'm like 1729. I don't know, but I'm okay with that stuff. Like, it was cool to look at, and I think that was an important part. And the last thing for me, and I will be interested to hear your thoughts. I don't think this show had any real stars.
Except Malkovich.
I think Malkovich, as great as he is and as well known as he is, does much better as a supporting actor. Look at him in anything else. Con Air.
I know you're going to say.
Look at him in the movie Rounders. Have you ever seen Rounders with Matt Damon?
I saw it a while ago. I don't really remember him in it, though.
Incredible movie. Matt Damon, Edward Norton. That's a movie to watch for real. Like, watch that before Big Lebowski. This is a great movie. But Malkovich plays an unbelievable supporting character in that movie and literally makes the movie, and he's only in like 6 or 7 scenes. He's so good, and he has so much energy, and I don't think he did poorly. I think he was fine in this. But I think he does better in a more supporting role than the title role of Blackbeard. And when you argue about it, maybe Blackbeard wasn't even the title role in this show.
Yeah,
maybe Tom was the title role. And no offense to Richard Coyle, but I didn't buy him as much of a leading man in this instance. He's a great actor. I didn't buy him as much of this leading man in this instance. I don't know who I would have gone with, but I might have gone with somebody different.
Well, I don't know. They're from the UK, a lot of them. Yeah. So maybe it doesn't translate with American. We like pretty.
I don't know, man. Have you ever seen Penny Dreadful? That's a UK show, and it translated like crazy
Is it?
to me. Yeah.
Well, Josh Hartnett's in it though.
That's true.
So.
All right, point taken. Point taken. But there are a lot of non-American actors. I know that Charlie, I forget his name now, but him and Rose are Australian. So yeah, and the woman who plays Nenna is British. So there are a lot of non-American actors, and maybe it just didn't translate for me. And maybe people are saying, "Dude, you're crazy." Richard Coyle was great, and Malkovich is the man.
No, I kind of agree because I don't know. I feel like kind of John Malkovich was too acty sometimes.
He can get a little over the top, which I like because it's quirky and weird.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always call for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really care about any of the other people they didn't really give you anything to care about. You didn't really see their vulnerability, especially with Lowe.
The person I was most emotionally invested in, I hate to say this, was Fletch.
Yeah.
It was Fletch.
Yeah.
Because you feel sorry for him. You don't want anything bad to happen to him, but he's also a likable guy, but he's also kind of not a likable guy because Lowe is not necessarily likable, and Fletch has blind loyalty to him. So you're like, dude, Fletch, realize that this is not the greatest.
Yeah. And also, he's probably as in the dark as we are.
That's true.
So we kind of relate to him. Like, hey, I don't know anything that's going on either.
That's true. I just want answers. I want to know about this hellburner. I want to know what happened to the Spanish. I want to know what happened to the chronometer. I want to figure out where Nenna is. There's a lot to be done next week.
I want answers.
Well, with that, let's give our own answers right now. Time for predictions.
All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So should we even predict? Well, let me put it this way. Should we even watch the show next week, or should we just write the ending ourselves and call it a day?
I mean, we might write a better ending. But
no, I'm kidding. We'll be here next week. It's
not as pretty.
We will be here next week as scheduled, but let's do some predictions. What's going to happen next week? You tell me.
I think they're going to find Nenna. That's what I said already, but
I hope they do.
God, I just want to know. And I think they're going to kill her because what she's done,
Oh, if they find her, they would have to kill her because she's definitely the one who's stolen jewels from Blackbeard. She framed Tom, which is a crime on this island, regardless of who you framed. You can't do something like that. They know she killed Rose now because Tom's not guilty of that. They'd have to kill Nena.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And she knows that, so maybe she doesn't want to be found. She won't be found.
Yeah. And I think, what else? I think Kate and Lowe are going to continue to hook up.
Ugh.
Because that's what they do. Always constant disappointment. I don't know if we're going to ever... I don't know about...
I don't even know how I'm going to parallel this. You probably don't listen to country music.
No.
Okay. There's a country song by an artist named Easton Corbin. It's called Clockwork. And it is about... Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And it is about a girl that he's hooking up with, but he doesn't want to hook up with her because he knows he likes her and she doesn't like him. She's using him. And every time they hook up, it emotionally damages him and he has to start over from the bottom and he doesn't want to do it. And he says he's not going to do it, but like clockwork, he does it again and again and again. The reason I bring that up is that, I'm telling you, Clockwork by Easton Corbin, it's a great song. And it is defined part of my life for some time. But the reason I bring it up is that is like what Kate and Tom's relationship is to me. Couple episodes they'll hook up, that's obviously wrong, Kate's married. Then a couple episodes they won't hook up and Tom will work with James and stuff will happen. Then they'll hook up again, then they'll get in a fight, then they won't hook up, then Kate will defend him. It's like clockwork. They're gonna keep going back to it and I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
And they don't, I feel like they don't even like each other
No,
that
I don't
much.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
It's just like, they wrote this, let's make out.
And it's almost like Tom, because he's the new blood on the island, he's not like a, scurvy pirate, whatever. He's like a little bit different. That Kate just has to have an interest with him because not many men come to this island. Not many. Once you're here, you're here. And when you're not here, you never show up.
I don't know. I just think it's not a good idea, but feel like it's, that's the one thing I'm confident there's gonna be at least a kiss.
For sure. Maybe they'll ride off in the sunset together and go back to England.
And Fletch will be there with Nellie and her baby.
That would be amazing. What if the baby is Fletch's? I'm just kidding. He hasn't been there long enough, but that would be amazing.
He's just got some magic going on down there. So.
Maybe he does. Who gets executed next week? Does Tom die? Does Blackbeard die? I'm sure Blackbeard wouldn't be executed, but who dies next week? Besides Nana.
I don't know. Either Lowe or either Blackbeard. Either or. That's what I want to see. One of them dead. Okay. Or I want Jagger to just come and be like, "Found you guys, kaboom." And be like, "Deuces."
That would be amazing if Jagger came back. Yeah.
Be like, "I know you guys think I'm crazy. Here's proof. I'm gonna kill you all."
True dat. Yeah. I think Charlie will die next week.
Okay.
At the hand of Blackbeard. I think James will die next week. Again, maybe at the hand of Blackbeard, because James has kind of been working behind the scenes on a lot of people. And I know he saved Tom at the very end, but James is still doing a lot of wrong stuff.
Yeah. Maybe he'll OD.
And that's a good point. He might actually. And James was working in tandem with Nena. So if they find Nena, maybe Nena outs James. So I think James dies. I think Charlie dies. I think we're going to have a lot more deaths in the last episode, I hope, in the 2-hour finale, than we've had all year long.
Yeah. But just, instead of killing the storyline, just kill those people.
Just kill everyone. Yeah. Kill everyone and let Lowe and Blackbeard ride off into the sunset. Yeah. Together. Yeah.
I bet they have the best chemistry.
They really do. Yeah. They, honest to God, they really do. Yeah. And bring Salima. She didn't do anything wrong. No. Yeah, we can bring her.
Yeah, she's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. And Fletch.
We've completely bottomed out.
Yeah.
All right, the only way to do it next week is to see the show. We'll be back next week like normal. As we get going, though, Kelly, social links, Twitter, stuff like that, where can people find you?
You could find me at Holly Weirdo on Instagram and Twitter.
And I'm at Bobby DeMuro on Twitter, at Mr. Bobby DeMuro on Instagram. And seriously, guys, the question we asked each other, did this show deserve to die? Did it deserve the fate that it had? What did you think of Crossbones going into last week? Let us know. So if you're on YouTube or whatever, comment below in that section. We would love to hear from you. And seriously,
do it.
And if we're totally wrong about being so sour on the show, tell us. Make your case.
Just call us out. We just want to know your opinions and answers.
Tweet us, do whatever. That's it this week on Crossbones. We'll be back like normal next Sunday for the special 2-hour finale. Good night, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.